93% of people can never get to that 10 to 12% body fat mark. Did you know that 1 in 15 Americans are millionaires? 1 in 25,000 Americans have a six-pack, which is crazy. It's easier to become rich than to have a six-pack. But what if I told you that it doesn't have to be that way? In this video, I'm gonna give you 5 simple, systemic strategies to finally get lean. This works because I've done it myself 5 times. I've coached some of the busiest people, so you have no excuses. I have coached the TV and YouTube star Daniel Thrasher, Drake's producer and Grammy Award-winning artist Seven Thomas, Trish and Brent, Dr. Gregory. This was him on Ozempic when he started with me, and this was him off Ozempic following this simple strategies, these 5 simple strategies. And in today's video, I'll take you through this whole process step by step and what you need to do and to follow to get lean. This will not be what you want to hear. This will be what you need to hear. By the way, my name is Dr. Michael Diamonds. I'm a scientist. I graduated at a top 200 school. I majored in biochemistry and microbiology. I am a pro natural bodybuilder. That's why I went through 5 bulks and cuts. And I'm also an ex-medical doctor. I left the hospital to help people get lean and healthy without medication. So let's not waste time and dive straight in. Step 1 is precision health. This is the skill that you need to learn. You need to learn to be precise. Let me explain. If you're supposed to hit 10,000 steps, I tell my clients, you cannot. I never want to see anything under 10,000, not even 100 short. Now, obviously, 100 steps here and there won't be what stops you from getting results. But it's about the principle. You want to hold yourself to a higher standard. To become the person you want to be, you need to behave like the 2.0 version of yourself. I also mean this in the opposite direction. If you agree to do 10,000 steps, don't do 13,000 every day. I always give my clients 10% leeway north of their step target. But the same principle applies when it comes to your workouts. Be precise with your form so that we're efficient. Be precise with tracking your workout so that the next time you are in the gym doing that workout, you can beat your previous self. I know so many of you never track a workout. How will you know where you are? By now, some people are saying, wow, that's just tedious. But this is my question to you. Are you still out of shape? It's because this is the skill you're missing. You're missing precision. Picture this. You and your partner, you found your dream home and you've both decided that you're gonna save so that you can buy that dream home. But here's the problem. Imagine when you go out shopping, there's no price tags on anything, on the clothes you want, on the appliances like a TV. All you have to do is tap your card and hope that it falls in your budget. It would be impossible to save money that way. You need to know the price tag so you know if this fits in your budget or not. Now, this is exactly what you're doing with your health. You're eating, running, sleeping, and training without knowing the price. Let me explain how to fix this. To finally get lean, if you're not measuring and tracking what you eat, you'll never get lean. But I'll show you a super easy way to do it, so just stay with me. Everything you eat has a price tag, and those are called calories. And if you look closer and look at the fine print, you're gonna see the macros, protein, carbs, and fats, and all the ingredients. So let's buy your house. In this case, let's get you lean. What I'm not gonna do in this video is tell you about a caloric deficit and how to calculate that and how to build your meal plan. At the end of this video, I will leave a fully explained video for you to follow. And I promise you, if you watch that other video start to finish, you will know what to do. But I want you to remember this. What cannot be measured cannot be improved. From this day onwards, every gram of every food you put into your body must be measured, and if you must, with a food scale. This is why. Look at this rice. It's 30 grams of dry rice, also 1 ounce. And it looks like nothing, right? But in that 30 grams is 100 calories. Look at these 2 slices of toast with peanut butter. One of those toasts have 2 extra 100 calories. Look at this bowl of oats. They look the same, but one of those bowl of oats have 150 extra calories. This is the equivalent of shopping without looking at the price tag. So stop ignoring the sauces that you're putting on your food, the Snickers that you took a bite from your partner. We want you to be precise with everything you put in your body so we can budget. Because you see, with all these things, you will come back a month later being frustrated because you've been blowing your budget each and every single day for the last 30 days, and even worse, wasting your time. On the opposite spectrum, a lot of my clients who finally understood they have to be precise even take a portable scale when they're going to a restaurant, or even one of my clients took it to a wedding. And I know some of you are saying, wow, that's crazy. But what if I said, hey, he's gonna get $1 million for doing it? All of a sudden you'd be like, do you, boo-boo? Do you? And in this life, people will do what is required for things that they want. So if you need to take a food scale with you, if you eat out a lot, it costs you nothing. Maybe you're embarrassed a little bit, but in 2 months or 3 months from now, everyone is gonna ask you, how did you get lean? How did you do it? Because it's harder to get lean than it is to become rich. So this point is important, but if you don't couple it with the next point I'm about to share with you, the magic is lost. Before I continue, if you have been stuck for a while, I wanna help you. So all you need to do is this. Comment below your age, your weight, your height, and your gender, how many times you're training, and what your goal is, and how many calories you're eating. And I'll tell you if this is a bad plan, and if you need to change it, if you need to change your strategy. I see this so often, and I'm gonna try and help as many people as the comments as possible. All I ask in return is leave the video with a gentle thumbs up. And if I miss you for any chance, I'll definitely do this more often in other videos, so subscribe and hit the notification bell. The sooner you're commenting on the video, the sooner I can get to you because I'm on when the video is uploaded. But let's continue. Point number 2, strategy. I want you to think of a GPS. A GPS is gonna tell you the duration, how long it's gonna take, and it's gonna give you every left and right turn you need to take to reach your final destination. The same with a pilot. When a pilot flies, he knows exactly the altitude he needs to fly, the amount of fuel on the plane, the number of passengers, the weight of the plane, so that he can reach his destination efficiently and quickly. And the same applies when I was a doctor. If we're going to do a C-section, for example, there needs to be a strategy in place to protect the patient and for the patient to achieve the desired result that they have the easiest way and the quickest way possible, right? To reduce the risk of anything happening. And look at my client Lloyd. He struggled for 30 years before he understood this point of strategy. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I just got back from California. I went there for a week and I was telling Max, I'm about to travel, man. And then your video with the traveling thing, so that helped a lot. I had a lot of quest bars and just with lean meats and stuff like that. And he said, you'll be all right, get your steps in. So I took my scale with me. I told my wife, I'm sorry, I'm taking the scale. I got a track. But it was a good learning experience. It's like, okay, next time you can do this, you can do that to make it better. The biggest challenge for me, which is now, it's no longer a challenge, when Max was telling me about, it was the sleep protocol. When Max told me, here's your big 3, and when not one of those 3 was workouts, I was like, hold on, Max, what about the workout? He goes, workout is bonus, man.
That's it.
I was like, what? He goes, yes. He said, sleep, steps, nutrition. I was like, oh, okay, so I've been doing this thing wrong.
So all of you embarking on your journey, you need to have a strategy in place, and I'm gonna give you examples of what that strategy should look like. Let's start with the nutrition strategy. I hear too often, hey Mike, I need to lose 30 pounds and I've been eating 1,500 calories. And I want you to think about that. Okay, I need to lose 30 pounds and I'm at 1,500 calories. So for after the first 10 pounds, you very likely need to drop your calories to, let's say, 1,250. For the second 10 pounds that you need to lose, you're very likely gonna be at 1,100 calories. And then for the last 30 pounds, the last 10, you need to be at 1,000 calories. Is that sustainable? The simple answer is no. And I understand you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You really want the result. So this is what I want you to do instead. Recalculate what your maintenance calories are. And then write down in your calendar every 2 weeks that you're gonna decrease your calories by 200, or to be more conservative, by 150. So let's say you're starting off at 2,750. In 2 weeks, you will be at 2,500. In 2 weeks, you'll be at 2,600. 2 weeks after that, you're going to be at 2,550. And write it down so you can clearly see what pathway you want to follow. The same applies with your steps. Okay, if you're doing 20,000 steps and you need to lose 30 pounds, so are you going to do 25,000 later on? It's not sustainable. So I highly recommend, number 1, opening up your iPhone and opening up the Health app. And if you have a Samsung Health, it will tell you how many steps you're doing. Now, it may not be the most accurate. Maybe you don't have your phone on you, but it's inconsistently consistent. And simply just have 2,000 steps above what your iPhone or your Samsung Health app is telling you. So if you see 6,000, then yes, start at 8,000. And then write down on paper, in 2 weeks, I'm gonna increase it by 1,000 and I'm gonna go to 9, then 10K, then 11K, then 12K. And the same applies with your training. Have a strategy in place. And this will allow you to have a clear path, write it on a paper. So be a surgeon about your process, be a pilot about your process, and I promise you, you're gonna get to your next destination. This is the third mistake I see so many people make, and I want you to remember this quote. It's a quote that I absolutely love by James Clear. You don't raise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And that's extremely beautiful. You can have a goal of 50 pounds and you might try and hit the 50 pounds, but if you fail, you have nothing to fall on. But if you have a strategy, you might lose 10 pounds and you'll get closer and closer and closer to it. If you have a system, when you fail, you'll rely on that system to continuously get you there. Let me give you an example. And what I'm about to share with you is something that no one is saying online, but I'm gonna do it for you. Intermittent fasting, high protein diet. These are 2 things I've recommended. Keto, paleo, carnivore. All of those strategies don't have anything super special to them. The foundation of all those strategies is in science, and it's been in science since the beginning of its discovery. And it's called the law of thermodynamics, right? It's also called the law of conservation. Energy cannot be lost. It can be transferred from one system to another, AKA calories in versus calories out. So what happens a lot of the times, and this is why I'm talking about system, you will fast, you'll do intermittent fasting. You'd have said, hey, Dr. Mike should do 16-8, which is great. This will allow you to lose weight, right? And maybe it'll take you from 30% to 15%, or maybe it'll take you from 30% to 20%. But this is the problem. When you get to 20% and you're stuck, essentially you don't know where you are. You don't know if you've been eating 1,800 calories or 2,500. And this is why you don't have a system. So this is what I recommend you do. Do intermittent fasting, but know exactly what your calories in and calories out are. Know exactly how many calories you're eating. And this is an even easier tip that I can give you. And what I personally do with a lot of my busy clients, I want you to follow a diet. Let's say you're following intermittent fasting and you now have a diet. Let's say you're eating 2,000 calories. And what I do for a lot of my clients, I'll build out their plan and I'll tell them eat the same food for the next week. And you just need to make sure that they're the exact same in terms of weight. Don't change a thing and eat the same food. This way you don't need to track every day, but this is your system. And this way you know, okay, every day I'm eating 2,000 calories. I've been eating the same 4 meals for the last 4 months and I am in the shape of my life. And the same with my clients. And what's good about this is that eventually, let's say after a month, you finally got stuck. Now you say, okay, I've been eating these 4 meals. On this one meal, I'm just gonna reduce the amount of rice, right? By 100 or 150 calories. And you will see the weight come off like whoosh, because you've stuck to a system, right? You're eating the same food. So my advice is just simplify your process. And this is why meal prepping is great, because you've measured all the food. You've meal prepped for the week so you can be sure that everything is measured. And maybe the next week when you're not losing weight, you can say, okay, I'm gonna reduce the amount of sweet potatoes this week by 2-3 ounces. And that will establish a deeper deficit. And that's why I mean by having a system in place. Paleo follows a system of calories in versus calories out. Keto follows a system of calories in versus calories out. And if you've never been able to get lean, it's because you haven't had a system in place that you can fall to every time. And look at my client, Daniel. He wanted to be able to have a naked scene. Listen to his story.
Before I found Sculpt by Science, I was in London. I was in the middle of shooting Dinner with the Parents on Amazon, and I had gained like 5-10 pounds of just like chunky weight that I didn't necessarily want to see on the screen, you know? And I was told that I had to film a shirtless scene at the end of Christmas break. And so in a panic, knowing that I had 2 or 3 weeks to prepare my body, I reached out to Dr. Michael Diamonds and Sculpt by Science, and I said, hey, I need help. I'm on a show. I gotta slim down fast. I have a shirtless scene. Can you help me? And he did. And I was able to lose 7 pounds in a healthy way. I was actually eating more food than I think I'd ever eaten before, but with some level of sorcery and science ingenuity, I was able to drop weight, and I felt really confident on the day that I shot that shirtless scene.
And I promise you, if you say, okay, I'm gonna follow intermittent fasting, but I'm also going to know exactly the calories I'm eating, pairing those two together, fantastic. Same applies with keto. You say, hey, I'm gonna follow keto, but I'm gonna know exactly the amount of calories I'm putting in my system. Perfect. I'm not married to any of those diets as long as it follows the science. Follow a system. Strategy number 4 is leadership. Always find leadership in any form of someone that you can follow. And that's how we've been raised as people. As we grow, all our morals and values are usually from our parents, all the habits that we instill. And on a higher level, when you go to school, when you see a teacher, that is your form of leadership. Your teacher is going to show you how to read the right way, how to write the right way. And at a higher level, we call this coaching. When you're a soccer player, let's say you're a professional soccer player, you're going to listen to Ancelotti, or if you're a basketball player, LeBron James is going to listen to his coach to lead. And why this is important, why coaches and having a form of leadership, even if it's watching a YouTube video and following everything the person says, is that that person, number one, can act as an objective eye. They can look at you from a third person perspective and tell you, hey, Mike, take a left here, take a right. Don't do that. I've done that before and it hurt me. And this is why leadership is so important. You can have an objective eye who has your best interests at heart help you. I highly recommend, if you've wanted to get lean, to get a coach. And it necessarily doesn't have to be me, but it can be anybody that you trust and that you can see proof that they've had hundreds of people do this. And it's the quickest way to get lean. I've had a coach myself in my attempt to become a professional natural bodybuilder, because there were things that they knew that I had to do which I would have never thought of or would have had my emotions involved. Now, of course, I'm gonna throw in an ad for you to potentially work with me and my team. What makes us so different from everyone else is, number one, we're a team of medical doctors who specialize in health sciences. Having me as the leadership, we will build your strategy and your system. What we also do is we take our medical side, we run advanced medical diagnostics, including blood panels, so that we can see what's working under your hood. And based off of all the data we collect, we build your entire strategy. What goes into your body, what cardio exactly you should be doing, how to optimize your levels for you to be able to live longer, to be happier. And usually the people who love working with us are the people who've tried everything before, are the people who trust me as a coach because they've seen my track record. And usually the people who accept working with us are medical doctors. They are in IT, they're working for Apple or Microsoft, or they're business owners. If that's you and you want to get a result like Dr. Gregory or Trish or Brent, or all of the hundreds of clients I'm showing you on the screen right now, I invite you to fill out an application to work with us. It's the first link in the description. It's a short application. You will jump on a call with either me or one of my medical doctors, and we will diagnose and see what's not working, what needs to happen, what tests we need to run, and for you to finally get lean, and not only that, to optimize your health. Now, let's move on into step number 5. I call it the art of consistency. Why so many people never get lean, and I used to be in this position, is that you're not consistent enough, or you give up too soon. First, we live in an age where I want to order food and it should be here in 2 minutes, and one day we'll be able to hit the button on our phone and the food will be at our doorstep. And people don't practice enough consistency with their own body. They expect things to happen overnight. And I highly encourage you to give yourself more time and to be consistent at it. So instead of giving yourself a week or 2 weeks, give yourself a month. And the more time you give yourself, the better. But not only that, be consistent with it. And I mean, if you've decided to do a diet or you're following a plan, if you're cheat mealing every week, that's not consistency. If you've decided that you're going to train 4 times in a week and you're only training 3, that's not consistency, that's inconsistent. So really try and be consistent with the plan that you have. And I mean, and this is my definition of consistency. It's not doing more than what you have to. It's not doing less than what you have to. It's doing exactly what you're supposed to do, especially when you don't want to. And this is an art. You will fail, but you need to tell yourself, you know what, I'm not gonna give up, I'm gonna try again. If you see that, damn, I'm always under in my steps, work your way to being 5 days consistent, then 7, then 2 weeks, then a month. And this is what I call the art of consistency. I should even just call it the art of not giving up, because so many people are not consistent and so many people give up. Again, I hope this video is helpful for you. I'll leave it here. And this is the video that I described that will show you how to build your own plan, to follow a meal plan. Everything you need is in this video. It's gotten nearly 500,000 views in a month. So watch this here. If you enjoyed the video, leave the video with a gentle thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.